You're listening to the SEO Mindset podcast. Now, we are not your typical how to do SEO podcast. No, we are not. With the help of our guests, we cover those all-important topics around career development, personal growth, and mental health for those working in the SEO industry. You got to be working on your own internal algorithm. Like what we did there. So if you like the sound of our podcast and you think this is a bit of me, shall we crack on with this week's episode?
So, ready for a tricky question? Does change always have to be stressful? Because I don't know about you, but these days it feels like the world of tech is shifting every 5 minutes and so many of us are feeling really stretched thin. Or is it possible to find calm in the chaos? In this episode, Sarah and I discuss just that question and how to find that calm. So let's get it straight. This isn't about productivity hacks or squeezing more out of yourself. It's about staying human when the world is so noisy. We talk honestly about why change seems harder now than ever before and what happens to our nervous system when we've simply had enough. And then I'll share the practices that have helped me stay relatively zen and how you can anchor yourself when life feels chaotic. Now, before I play the episode, Sarah and I want to share some really great news. We've created a library of resources, everything from a curated podcast playlist to an email course and masterclasses, all designed to help you grow in your career with clarity and confidence. You can explore all of that if you click on the Buy Me a Coffee link, which will be in the show notes, and choose whatever meets you where you are right now. Now, are you ready to find your zen? Let's begin. It's me, Tazmin.
And it's me, Sarah.
Now, Sarah, a potentially slightly heavy topic today.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Today, I want to talk about overwhelm.
Okay, yes. Big topic, important topic.
Yeah. Do you get overwhelmed?
Yes.
Me too.
I think everyone does, don't they?
They do. And the reason I wanted to have this episode is there's so much going on. The world feels chaotic. And I just want to remind people exactly that you know what, everyone gets overwhelmed. It's just being human. And I want to then, talk about in this part all of the things that are contributing to it. So we're not broken if we're feeling overwhelmed. There's so much going on. But then in part two, strategies that people can use to really manage that. People say to me that, Tasman doesn't get overwhelmed. She's the Zen queen. And it's not that I never do, but I think over the years I've learned some things that really help me stay calm, and I wanted to share those.
Sounds fabulous because, it can be unrealistic because when you look at certain people and they never look like they get flustered or they just look like they've got SHIT together. They've got everything sorted. They've got answers to all the questions. Everyone does get overwhelmed. You're not on your own. And like you say, you're not broken because it's so true. We're all in this together.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to realize that, there's so much going on in the world right now. There's all sorts of political tensions, there's economic uncertainty, there's social divisions. Tech is growing rapidly. I'm going to talk a little bit about AI, but not in the context of about AI, but the impact it's having. And the truth is that this is the background against which we are doing our work. And it's hard, right?
It definitely is. And you can't just ignore it, can you? You can't just put your head in the sand. And it's unrealistic to think that with everything that's going on that you've mentioned, of course it's going to have an impact in work because we're human.
Yeah. And you can't, it's everywhere. You can't turn be watching something about the terrible things that's happening to humans and the suffering that's happening in the world, and then come to your own life and feel, not for that to have any impact, because it is going to have an impact. And what I wanted to share with the listeners is that we're all feeling that. So do what you can, donate where you want to, learn where you want to. There's gaps certainly in my knowledge where I'm trying to plug those gaps. I know you and I have spoken about this a lot, and certain books that you're reading, certain things that I'm reading. So do what you can, but also look after yourself, because it's a heavy time.
Yeah, and you can't do everything. You can't fix everything. Like if if I donated to everything that I wanted to donate to, I just wouldn't have any money. And do you know what I mean? Because there is so much going on, but it's about, yeah, doing what you can, showing up for people where you can, showing up for yourself. And yeah, like it is, it, where the world is a weird place. The world is a
Yeah.
weird place right now.
So one of the reasons that this episode triggered in my mind is you and I were talking about AI, and you were saying that it's really overwhelming, the amount of change that's happening. And it made me think about the time when computers first started showing themselves in our world. And I don't ever remember anyone at that time saying, I feel overwhelmed. I didn't feel overwhelmed. So a little bit of context, I'm 16, 16-year-old Tasmin was doing a typing O level, Pitman, shorthand. And when I'm 19, I'm learning how to code. So a very different world in those 3 years. Life changed a lot. But I don't ever remember anyone saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And I was trying to think, what are the reasons why it feels so much harder? When, if you think about it, no internet to internet, pretty drastic, right? Big deal. And some of the things that I've been pondering on, that why was it that in the 90s we were dealing with change so much better than now,
Mm,
and not feeling the overwhelm. And I think these are a few ideas that I've had. Feel free to
mm,
to add to it. But we didn't have social media, so we weren't being bombarded. We
that's
were not
true.
doom scrolling. And that, we have a choice of how much we consume, but somehow most people struggle with that choice. It's, I'll just watch one reel, and then suddenly 3 hours have passed away. And those 3 hours don't usually give us energy, they drain our energy.
Can I
Likewise, yeah,
can I add to the social media point as well? Social media platforms know what they're doing as well, so
yes,
they're doing everything that they can to keep you hooked. They're
yeah,
making sure that you carry on the doom scroll. So whatever you're seeming interested in, whatever you're interacting with, whatever that is, you're going to see more, because social media platforms have one goal, and that is to keep you on the platform.
yeah,
So yeah, again, don't kick yourself if you're like, oh, I'm just so bad, I'm always doom scrolling, why can't I have more self-discipline, why can't I be more willpowered? It's hard
yeah,
because Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, they have the money to know what they're doing to keep you on that
yeah,
platform.
yeah. So social media adds to that overwhelm. And if you're then looking at the news, that also then adds to it, whether you're watching the news on the telly or whether you're on social media. So combined, that's a lot. Then there's the offshoots of all of that, which is a comparison culture. Suddenly you have the whole world that you can compare yourself with, as opposed to in the 80s and 90s, it was just your family and your friends, and there wasn't a lot of comparison. Well, there was comparison going on, but not like this. And there was self comparison, not as much. I don't remember as much. There's also this constant commentary going on because we are so connected. Before, you had to ring someone to tell them what you thought of them if you were going to do it. Now it's in, you post something and people are commentating on it. So there's all of that.
Can
And we're
I
consuming. Yeah, go on.
so on that, so on your point about that comparison and who you have access to compare to, there's also this idea of always being accessible as well,
Yes.
like not
Yeah,
being able to switch off, always like you've got like a supercomputer in your phone in your pocket at all times. So that's
yeah,
going to add to the pressure of always being accessible. And also keyboard warriors with social media, and of course it's really easy for people to make comments, make judgments, talk about certain stuff. Like there's been times where I've put a post together about a topic or something that I'm really passionate about, for example, and having that fear in case I get something wrong or something being taken in the wrong way, and having that anxious feeling that yes, I really want to post this because it's important and I want to show up for this community and I want to talk about it, but at the same time the keyboard warriors. And I'm not saying that yes, like I'm going to get stuff wrong, I'm going to make mistakes, and it's about taking accountability. But there are awful keyboard warriors out there that wouldn't say
yeah,
the same stuff that they're saying online as they would to your face.
yeah. So all in all, we're consuming more than our nervous system was built for. We've got all of these added pressures from, being accessible, all of that. So it's a lot. On top of that, there's more choice now, and more choice can often mean more pressure. So before you went to school, you went to college, you got a job, you got married, you had children, you more or less stayed in the same place, you carried on in the same job. You change jobs, but it what isn't as much as it is now, and then you retire. But now you've got going from one role to another, having a portfolio career, having a side hustle. Do I want to work remote? Do I want to go hybrid? Do I want to go, wander around the world? There's endless courses to do, tools to learn, paths to take, and and choice is empowering, but it's also exhausting.
There's also something that comes to my mind when you're talking about that is on top of all that, even if you're employed or self employed and have your own business, everyone has to be working on their personal brand.
Yes, yes, on top of all of that. And
So,
and
yeah.
you're expected to know it on its own. So before, because people were more or less following the same path, there was a lot of collective rhythm to it. There were people that you could reach out to. Now everything's a lot more individual. And then that means that you're having to self-direct everything, self-direct your career, your well-being, your learning, your boundaries, your identity, your personal brand. It's liberating, but it's also, it's a lot. Now I've stepped into this world deliberately because I want to, but I've got to, not at the end of my life, but I don't have young children. I don't have the financial burdens that I would have had in my 20s and 30s. So my lifestyle is supporting what I'm doing. But if somebody is starting out and having to navigate all of this, it's a lot.
And that is, I've not heard this term before, but you're so true. You know, when you said self directed, because, yeah, like it is, it is hard
Yeah,
to self direct, especially if you're doing stuff for the first time. So I went freelance, I think April 2024. So we're now November 2025. So a year and a half that I've been freelancing. And again, like you, I deliberately stepped into that because I wanted to and I wanted to do this thing on my own. But it is scary because, like, I'm going to be vulnerable here and be really honest. Most of the time, I'm blagging. Like, it's hard to know how to run a business. It's hard to know how to do everything that you need to be doing to like have clients, have money coming in, making sure that you've got everything ticked, everything's in your checklists and stuff. Like, it is overwhelming. And yeah, like, yeah, yeah.
Now, this last point will lead into the solutions. And I think this is the thing that helps me the most. And I feel when talking to people, this is a big piece of the jigsaw that they're not adding to their lives, which increases the overwhelm. It's about relying on wanting the external to change and avoiding the internal change. So we are in a rubbish job. We want the employer to change. We want the government to change. We want our colleagues to change. We want parents to change. We want everyone else to change because we are right. We are right exactly the way we are. And it doesn't work like that. Because all of that creates that friction. What it does is it takes away your power. When you say they are they are wrong and I'm right, it's taking away your power. Because if you say, actually, maybe I'm wrong, then at least you can do something about it. And the thing that helps me navigate everything that I'm doing, a lot of it is my, time on my own, reflection, and looking within, fixing within, and I'll talk more about that after the break. But what I'm finding around me with my clients, with my social circle, is that they are running at 100 miles an hour and they don't want to stop to journal, to reflect, to meditate, to go for that walk, to clear their mind, to work on their mind. So internally, they are so broken. They're not strong. They're unfit.
Yeah, and I relate to that too so much because a reason why that's not happening is you can say, oh, I just don't have time. I don't have time. And we're all busy. We don't have time, but you're never going to have time if you don't make time and you don't make things a priority. So something that you've said to me before, which I think is applicable here, is nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah. And with meditation, for example, there's a saying somewhere. Who said it? It basically goes something like this. Actually, I haven't got time to meditate because I've got a 2-hour meeting this afternoon. And the teacher or whoever replies by saying, oh, then you need to meditate twice as long. Because that's what's going to give you that mental agility, the clarity, the calmness, the power of thought to be able to deal with those tough things.
And it's also about taking accountability for what you want and having the bravery to accept, okay, maybe I'm not right here, like you said.
Yeah.
And if I think back to the times where I've resisted it, it's because I've got defensive about, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm Sarah. Like, I'm just trying my best here. But actually, you're not going to be a perfect human. No one's perfect. What is perfect? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you could say, what's wrong with me? Or you could say, what's wrong with me? One is defensive and one is curious.
True.
Okay. What? I will talk more about that after the break.
Lovely. Okay. Time for some reflection then, people. Introducing Clear Narrative Media, a purpose-led media marketing agency that transforms how founders, creatives, and organizations share their stories online. Dedicated to assisting you with all your marketing, content, and strategy needs. Their services include photography, consultancy, and social media management. Clear Narrative Media is here to transport your visions to life. They are on a mission to help you to create awareness, build visibility, and enhance your business and professional growth overall. For more information, head over to their website at cnmedia.com or follow the link in the show notes.
Hi, Tazmin here. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Be more visible, earn more, but also take care of your well-being and have work-life harmony? Well, I can help you because I'm offering you a free 30-minute consultancy call. Together we can go through where you want to be and how to get there. Simply click on the link in the show notes, fill in a form, and I'll get back to you.
You probably already recognise this voice, but Sarah here. Are you enjoying what me and Tazmin are doing and fancy supporting the podcast? Well, it just so happens that you can. Now, for the same price as a Starbucks, Costa, or your favourite coffee shop coffee, you can give us a one-off tip or a monthly donation. If you fancy doing that, follow the link in the show notes. Why not also help us share the podcast? Get the word out there. Share us with your friends, colleagues, family, anyone who you think would benefit from our podcast.
So, Sarah, welcome back to the second part where I shared some nuggets on how to deal with overwhelm.
I'm really liking this episode, and you said at the start that this is going to be a bit heavy, but I think this is needed. I think more people need to be having this conversation, and hopefully, because we've put it on our feed and people can listen to it, hopefully people can then we want people to share this episode with other people. That would be fabulous. So if you think anyone would enjoy this episode, but also it's a conversation starter, isn't it? It gives people the reason to have this conversation with other people.
Yeah. So I know that the first half could have sounded quite heavy because we're talking about all of the things that are terrible in the world and all of the reasons why, current society and culture doesn't lend itself to that zenness. But what I will say to everyone is that if you start feeling overwhelmed, you're not broken and it can get better. You don't have to stay in that space. It's when you don't say I'm overwhelmed. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Don't put that emotion as your identity. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can feel something else. We're going to talk about how you can feel that something else. So the first one I want to talk about, which is what we started discussing before the break, is about taking responsibility yourself. For me, the ultimate goal in my life is for me to get better at being me. So when something goes wrong, when there's a moment of overwhelm, when I'm finding it really hard to navigate change, that's a moment when I can ask myself, okay, what is this teaching me? What do I need to get better at? Is it that I need to get better at managing my emotions? Is it that I need to get better at planning or better at communicating? Do I need to get better at being creative? Or do I just need to get better at accepting that this is the way that person is? Because often we'll say, oh, do you know what? They need to change. They're wrong, so they need to change. But you're telling them that they need to change, but you're not changing yourself.
True.
So if that's say you're in a work environment and you're working on a project and it's beginning to feel overwhelming, and manager is throwing requests at you. So in that moment, what is it that you need to learn? Do you need to learn how to communicate to them that actually you've already got enough things to be going on with? And one of the phrases I love, one of my old clients, Yvonne, she used to say to her directors when they would do that, saying, "Oh, do you know what, Mark? I'd love to do that thing. What would you like me not to do?" So being able to communicate that actually these are our priorities, these are the things that I'm doing, this is how long that's going to take. If I'm to take on another task, one of them has to go, or we need to find a solution.
Another example could be, so working in SEO, things aren't always going to go to plan, or you're going to have to put out fires, aren't you, sometimes? So, I don't know, you're doing your usual reporting for clients and there's a decline in traffic, revenue, conversions, whatever that is. And similarly, like, you need to learn how to have that communication or have that conversation with your client, with your boss. And again, is there anything that you can do differently to get your point across to whoever needs to hear it, basically?
So again, taking that one step further, you've got a client and numbers are not looking good and you have to communicate. So understanding, okay, is this client um, somebody who appreciates graphs more?
Mm.
I'm going to cough. Take a note of the time, Sarah. I'm
It's
going to take a
absolutely
second to get
fine.
back.
Any excuse to drink tea, Tasmin.
Oh dear.
You okay?
Mm. So is this an opportunity for me to understand client management better? What does this client want from me? Another client may want the same information, but in a different way. So some people prefer written, some people prefer numbers, some people prefer you to say to them, don't worry, I've got this. So
Some
maybe you
people
need to get, yeah,
some
go on.
people like a lot of information and like it to
Yeah,
be detailed, where other people just want top, like, bullet points.
yeah. If you're managing a project and you've got a team and things are going wrong and you're getting overwhelmed, so do I need to get better at managing my emotions before I now go and talk
Mm.
to my team because they're going to rely on you to steer the ship? So, in any situation, what is it that I need to get better at so that I can become a better me? So, that's the ultimate goal. And that's having that goal as your ultimate goal will just help you take responsibility and ownership, and then you're in far better position. Another way to help you with overwhelm is understand, I mean, carrying on with the goals, have real clear goals in your life. So this could be your learning goal, this could be your family goal, this could be your development goal. Um, because what that does is it reduces the choices. So supposing you have said, do you know what, I'm going to get fit and I'm going to use the mechanism, or I'm going to use the sport of football. Don't know why I said football, don't even like football, but hey, and you know what, I'm going to join the local football team and they play 3 times a week, and that's what I'm going to do. So then if somebody says, do you fancy roller derby? You say, no, I'm playing football. And then it reduces this whole shiny object syndrome.
I love that example because we're talking about roller derby.
Yeah.
One that's more applicable to our audience could be, maybe you want to, I don't know, learn more about log file analysis. You want to get more technical. You want to delve into the data of your website and understand log file analysis more. Maybe you want to learn, I know that you said that we were already going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about AI. Maybe you want to learn more about, okay, um, how does AI work? How does AI surface brands? How do I get mentioned? How do I get sourced in AI? And again,
Yeah.
with those goals in mind, so whether it's log file analysis, whether it's about understanding AI more, maybe you want leadership, maybe you want to lead a team, you want to lead your SEO team. So again, having that goal in mind, you can say yes to the things that's going to bring you to that and no to the stuff that's going to derail you.
Absolutely. And that really nicely leads on to the next point is take aligned action. So I had this slide in my talk at Brighton. When you have an opportunity, so you've got your clear goal, you know what it is that you're going to do, and somebody comes to you with an opportunity, ask yourself, is this a good fit?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is, then do it. It might not be a good fit, but maybe it's going to give you a fee. Do you want that fee? Now, that fee could be a monetary fee. It could be a learning opportunity. It could be a networking opportunity. Are you going to get something from it that you want? So, is there a fee? Yes or no? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to raise your energy or deplete your energy? Because if it's not a good fit and you're not getting paid for it in some shape or form, or it's not fun, then you do the fourth F, which is flee. And that
Okay.
will help you reduce the overwhelm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't have there's you don't have to say yes to everything, and I'm the
Yeah.
biggest yes person. I'm the biggest people pleaser, but you need to learn to say no. You need to learn to say not right now, or no because, or what have you, because yeah, like what is that saying? Every time you say yes to something, you say no to yourself. Is that correct?
Well, you say no, you're saying no to something else. There is an opportunity cost.
Okay. Yes. True. So yeah, that's a really good way of. I really like the idea of like, what is the fee? Ask yourself, what am I getting from it? Because if you're not getting anything from it, or you can't see the perceived value and you don't know how it's aligned, then why are you doing it?
Why indeed? Why are you doing it? The
Why, why,
next
why?
one, why? The next one is, you know what? Invest time in your rest and recharge. If you are not rested and if you have got no energy, how soon is it, how long is it going to be before you feel overwhelmed? Not very long at all. And, you know, recently with all of the talks that I've been doing and the ones that we're going to be doing, and all of the other things that have been going on in life, course, I will tell everyone about the course later. So there's been lots of things that I've been doing and spending less time on recharging, and boy, have I felt it. Really felt it. And yesterday I said to my husband, I just need to go out. Can we just go out somewhere? And we're going out again this afternoon. And I'm not seeing it as I'm feeling guilty about it or it's a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. It's going to help me carry on doing what I'm doing and certainly help me in Barcelona next week. So don't think of your physical and mental health as some sort of um, nice to haves. No, that's what's going to help you from, being able to handle lots of different change and help you manage that change without feeling overwhelmed.
So you mentioned your Brighton SEO talk. I'm going to mention my Brighton SEO talk now, because my talk was all about how to work smarter, not harder, to avoid burnout. And during the talk, I shared a very interesting stat, and a very worrying stat actually. I think it's 65%. It's around 60%. Let's go with 65. So 65% of UK workers, so this was found in a survey, don't take their annual leave. 65% don't take their annual leave. That is
That's
bonkers, because that
that's
is
bonk.
it's the bare minimum. And in most cases, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And if we can't even just take holiday that's part of the contract, is the bare minimum, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And it's doubly hard. So I get that you're going to have pressure, deadlines when you're employed, and I can see how that happens. But I can definitely see how it happens when you're freelance or doing your own thing, because you don't have that structure. You don't have HR saying, okay, this is your annual leave, you need to take it by this date. So something that I'm going to do next year is book in at least 4 weeks holiday. 4 to 5 weeks
Good.
holiday, and book it in at the beginning of the year, because then I know it's in. You can communicate to your clients, you can communicate to whoever you're working with. Look, these are the times that I'm going to be on holiday. Set expectations. I'm not going to be available. I'm going to be like, I've got no access to internet or what have you. But as long as you communicate and as long as you set expectation, like, clients will be like, yes, you work bloody hard and you do a good job, so go and have fun. That's whenever I message my clients and I give them enough warning about, okay, I'm going on holiday, they're like, oh, that sounds fabulous, Sarah. You go, everything's fine. Have a great time. So, yeah.
So absolutely. So rest and recharge. And the last one, and I've mentioned this in the previous episode, when you start feeling that feeling of overwhelm is about to hit you or it's starting to drag you down, do something to break that cycle. That could be taking a deep breath. That could be stepping outside. That could be writing down what's the next best step for me to take.
Taking a sip of your cup of tea.
Take a sip of cup of tea. Hug a pet, hug a husband,
Hug
do
a tree.
something, even hug a tree. I've never hugged a tree.
Also,
Um,
Tazmin, I don't know if I can just go around hugging people's husbands. I don't know if that's.
no, I'm
I'm
not
joking.
suggesting that you do that. That's what I do. I go and hug her snake because that helps. Or just remind yourself that you're not broken. It's going to be fine. Most of our jobs, um, I don't know anyone in SEO that does life-threatening work. Okay, most of our jobs is not saving lives.
Yes, that is so true. And at the end of the day, probably the worst thing that could happen in SEO, and I don't want to give people a bit of a heart attack, but you could take a website down by accident and it's
Yes.
offline and it's down for a few hours. But no one, like you say, it's not life threatening. You'll get it back up and running and
No.
everything's fine. Or maybe another thing is, I don't know, you get a penalty from Google. Again, you can come back from these things. It is not life
Yeah.
and death. Yes, I've just talked about two scary scenarios, and SEOs are probably having heart palpitations right now. But do you know what? Things happen. Like, yeah.
When I was working at Argos, I used to say to myself, look, it's a website that sells stuff. Okay, get a grip.
It's so true. It is so
Yeah.
true.
So, Sarah, have you got any to add to that? I know you
Well,
you were interjecting.
I was interjecting. We should probably give the one action, because we like to do that, don't we? We like to give people that one action that we want people to take.
Have your toolkit ready. So this could be a piece of paper where you say, write down, next time I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It could be, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to say to myself, everything is going to be fine, and ask myself the question, what's the next best thing for me to do? So when you're feeling that feeling, you know that all you have to do is look at that piece of paper and follow the actions. So it doesn't have to be those three things, but whatever it is that's going to help you.
Fabulous. My one tip would be what you said earlier. Don't make the feeling you. So instead of saying I am overwhelmed, say I am feeling overwhelmed, because with a feeling you can change a feeling, and feelings change all
Yeah.
the time. In it one day I can be happy, sad, excited, scared. Like, all of these different emotions can happen in one day. So I think that's probably my key takeaway. My main action is stop saying I am overwhelmed. Say I am
Yes.
feeling overwhelmed. Right, we
Brilliant.
need to wrap up, Tasmin.
Well, it is time. Absolutely, it's time. So when I forgot how to say it, Sarah.
Do we to do it?
Yeah, if you can do it.
That's okay.
What episode are we going to tease?
Got Barcelona.
Barcelona. Okay, you do it, and then just say subscribe and tell them that We've also got the podcast playlist
I'll
and
let you
other
do,
great resources.
I'll hand the digital course bit over to you. I'll do this bit and then
Okay.
I'll hand, yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I've just said, let's wrap up. Okay. So, yes, let's wrap up then. So, a reminder that episodes go out every single Thursday. If you subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts, and there'll be a link in the show notes so you can easily do that, you can get notified whenever there is a new episode. And we've got some great episodes coming up. So, very excitingly, we're recording a live podcast during International Search Summit in Barcelona with our good friend Jack of Search with Candour podcast. So that will be available to listen to. And if this is the first time listening, or even if it's not your first time listening and you enjoy what we're doing, we'll link to a previous episode in the show notes. So a previous episode, we were talking about stepping outside of our comfort zones and how actually comfort zones, whilst we understand why they exist, they can actually be detrimental to us. So I'll pop a link in the show notes for that. Digital course, Tazmin.
Yes. So Sarah and I are really, really excited. We have built some resources that are going to really help you and your career journey. One of them is a podcast playlist, and it is we've pulled together the podcasts that really relate to the talks that we gave in Brighton because they were so well received. So there's a link in the show notes that will take you to that playlist, absolutely free to download. Go and enjoy that. There are other options. If you want a bit more, there is another bundle, which is the playlist plus an email course, which is going to be fantastic. That's going to start in the new year because I do not want to be sending people emails on, running up to Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas holidays, and in the new year we'll start the course. And then there's a third bundle, which is the playlist plus the email course plus some really fantastic masterclasses. And if you grab one of those and you grab it before the end of the year, then you'll get a bonus workshop with Sarah and myself. We'll be doing it live where you can set your 2026 goals. So if you want to hang out with us and have resources that are really going to help you in your career next year, that's the one to go for.
Great stuff. Right. Without further ado, shall we say goodbye, take care of yourselves, and until next time?
Goodbye, take care of yourselves, and until next time.
Perfect. Looking to create awareness, build visibility, and enhance growth for your business, organization, or yourself? Introducing Clear Narrative Media, a purpose-led media and marketing agency that transforms how founders, creatives, and organizations share their stories online. Dedicated to assisting you with all your marketing, content, and strategy needs. You can find them on all social media platforms and online at cnmediaa.com or follow the link in the show notes.